James Anderson, a partner at Tesla's second largest shareholder, Bailey Gifford, criticizing CEO Elon Musk in an interview with Germany's Manager magazine, saying Tesla could work without Musk as CEO. Well, for more on that, let's bring in Colin Rusch from Oppenheimer. Could it?
It could. You know, certainly the company's looked at a lot of management turnover recently, and at this point, the strategy for the company is well in hand and being implemented. And so, if they brought in someone else that could use the vision that Musk has set forth and tap into him for additional color, and then execute in a more focused way, I think shareholders would be quite pleased. To be honest.
I mean, it seems unlikely given everything he's gone through previously, and the board obviously chose not to dispatch him. In particular, the SEC fines and the changes that took place there. Is there any reason to think that, and you can't ignore a very large shareholder, but is there any reason to think that this might actually happen?
No, I don't think there is. I mean, the board has put its put its stamp on the company, and they've evolved the board a fair amount, but it's still pretty much the same board that they had previously.
One of the biggest criticisms, it sounds like, in this piece from the interview, the shareholder James Anderson, is the lack of sort of team building that Musk has done. He says he could learn from Jeff Bezos how to build a team of like-minded individuals, like Andy Jassy at AWS. I mean, what does that look like at Tesla? We've been following the executive departures. Mm-hmm. Who's actually running it and who's around him? You know,
I think from our perspective, it's a very intense environment to work in, where people are under a great deal of stress and very heavy mandates that they need to meet. And so I think there's an element of survival for a lot of employees from our perspective. And that doesn't necessarily lead to really compelling team building, as people are just really trying to get as much done as they can and save themselves. And so I think there's a point to be had there in terms of the actual internal culture. It's a little hard to get a full read on that, but it certainly doesn't hurt to have trust built amongst members to just be more efficient over time.
Musk right now, has been kind of quiet. I mean, he isn't tweeting the way he once did. Do you think in any way that he's sort of modified or changed his behavior to the point where some of his shareholders who were a bit disappointed in that behavior may be happier?
He's continued to operate on his own terms, throughout his career, and I don't think there's any reason to think that he's changed any material behavior. He maybe had a handful of episodes where things came into the public realm, but I think he's continued to operate as he has in the past.
What's your take on Tesla?
I think he would be better served. I think it'd be cathartic for him if he found somebody else to really share the burdens of what he's going through. I think, like we're saying, it's unlikely, but I think the company would be better off without him doing everything and thinking everything has to go through him. That being said, I think megalomaniacs are generally hard to convince of certain things, and it's unlikely, but I think it'd be very, very good for the company.
I mean, is this still, are we talking about the right issue, Colin? Is this still the big bearish case on Tesla? Isn't there problems with competition and cash burn and profitability?
I think Musk is, his personality has helped the company capitalize itself, and that's been important. And now I think the real issue is that the automakers are slow in terms of responding. They continue to have a long road ahead of them in terms of electrifying their fleets, understanding what the real rules are that they need to operate under, which we saw in the news today around the companies cutting the deal with California. And the window of opportunity for Tesla continues to be much bigger than we think a lot of investors really think at this point. We think the competitive products have been disappointing. They're selling modestly well, but not very well. And we think Tesla, if they continue to execute, has an opportunity to really outperform the market and their competitors in a real serious way over the next 3 to 4 years.
And important to remember, I would think, and I would assume you agree, that, I mean, there's nobody else other than Elon Musk who could have gotten them this far, just on the ability to raise capital and have people believe.
I think that's absolutely true. Like, they made a very bold move to go all electric when they did, and really committed to that, and that served the company well, and I think it may be time for the company to evolve.
Colin, thank you. Colin Rusch from